next few minutes here.
Okay.
All right, guys, we are live.
Okay.
We are live. The show kick up in 10 minutes, so we can play around. Maybe we can talk about what's trending right now.
So this is live on Facebook already?
Yeah, it's live on Facebook right now.
Oh, okay.
So let's see. It's supposed to be live on Instagram if I'm mistaken it. So let me check on that
Okay.
and see. And you okay? Yeah, Instagram.
I think I should probably let me see here.
So you're live on social media,
Yeah, we are live on social media.
and how many platforms?
It's supposed to be Instagram and okay.
No.
Okay, so it'll be Instagram and Facebook.
Mm,
Let's see. I was looking on Instagram to see if we were there. Oh, it shows we are live on Instagram too.
Nice.
okay. I thought I was actually gonna connect through Facebook.
Oh, right now, you can go onto your page.
Mm-hmm.
There's the way you can put it on your page as well. If you go to your page,
Let's see.
and then you should be able to share the video.
Mm,
Let me
yeah. Okay. Let me see.
play music in the background.
For some reason, I
Thing that
cannot log.
is.
I don't remember my Facebook password, so I can't really log in.
Are
I
you
have
on your
to.
computer or you on your phone?
Who, me?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm on my phone. I mean, my phone is fine. It's logged in, but my computer, because I don't remember what the password is, and I don't want to reset it right when this program is about to start. So it's logged
Right.
in
Uh,
computer because I don't remember what the password is. I don't want to reset it right when the program is about to start.
Right. Let me log in from is there a way you can add me through the live, like how you add people to the video, because that way we will get more engagement.
so like you want to log into
Yeah, like as a guest.
yes, that's because we're in the studio. If you go into the comment, I will still have to send you the link.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of how you're in right now.
Oh, okay.
So what you could do, you on your phone, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if I say bring you on, I see they say you are watching.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go to. I see they say you are watching.
Mm-hmm.
If I go to bring you on,
So this. Oh,
if I go to bring you on,
so this. Oh,
if I go to bring you on,
so this. Oh,
so yeah, so I'll have to send a request to you, and then that's kind of how you get on. But it'll be the same way to do it.
Okay. Let me go out.
Well, you should be able. Can you? You should be able to share it on your page.
I
Uh,
did. Let me see.
Well, you should be able. You should be able to share it on your page.
I did. Let me see.
Well, you should be able. You should be able to share it on your page.
I did. Let me see.
Well, you should be able. You should be able to share it on your page.
I did. Let me see.
Well, you should be able. You should be able to share it on your page.
I did.
It's the same.
I don't know why it's echoing. It's giving the feedback.
Abigail, yeah, sorry, Abigail, I got my phone on here. Let me turn it off. Sorry about that.
That's fine.
Yeah. So 3 people. Yeah. So that's. I thought there was a way you could go live directly from your page, and then
I mean, but that's fine. We can do it here.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna lower my phone. Let me close my studio door. Okay. I was playing some background music. Did you guys hear the music? Oh.
No. Oh, okay.
I was wondering if you can hear it out there.
We see the video, but
I can see the video.
we don't hear the music.
Yeah, no, I don't hear. I'm thinking if you're watching live, you can hear it as well on the phone.
Wait,
No, you can hear it
I
either.
can see the video.
you gotta ask someone that's watching because I'm kind of restricted to just what's in front of me right now.
Yeah, I don't think you can hear it because I just went on my phone. But that's fine. I will move in from studio.
Just sing. I mean, that's good too.
Just giving there.
No, you can just you can just sing and we can go off of that for the background music.
Booty, are you sitting in your living room or
Yes, I am.
nice? Can you see that background?
Yeah.
All right, people. We're gonna be starting in about
Oh, we're
2
already
here.
live. So
Two
oh, there's
minutes. We're gonna be commencing officially, so that's what that means.
Okay.
At least we are good. Maybe eventually people will come and start to talk, get into topic, things like that. Can you see the comment thing?
oh, I'm only seeing. Wait a minute.
No, there hasn't been any comment. But do you guys see what it said? New comment will appear here. Do you guys see anything from here? And
Let me see. Comments. Yeah, it said live viewer comments show up on screen. StreamYard. This is an example. Okay.
yeah, it hasn't. Nobody hasn't commented. I just want to be sure that you guys can see that too, just in case.
Yeah, I
Just in
guess.
case I'm talking or you talking, we'll miss somebody comment, and we can go ahead and say yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. So, but it's about time, and we're gonna start. This is gonna be recorded so we can have it out on your page,
Okay.
YouTube. So it'll be everywhere. All right. 1, 2. Okay, volume's good. Everything's good. Okay, perfect.
Start already,
All
dude.
right, we're gonna kick off. No, we just have to make sure. So today is welcome back again. I will say welcome to everyone in the media lane, social media. Welcome to the It Is On You podcast. Today I have 2 powerful guests, and I would like them to introduce themselves. But first, just want to welcome everyone from the media lane. This is going to be mostly interactive. So if you have comment, You can put your comment through. We're going to try to read it out. If you want to come on the show, we still have space for additional two guests so we can bring people on. And that will be based on my guests if they want you to come on. But this is going to be interactive. We're going to try. And the topic today, stop playing the victim, the power of accountability in every area of your life. So this topic is kind of blending with my show. It is on you. That's one of the reasons I chose this. So I think this will be a good topic for the discuss. But before I start to go into deeper, I will have my guests introduce themselves, say a few words, maybe some background on the topic, whatever you want to say. So ladies first.
Mhm.
So I'll go with you.
Okay. Well, thanks for having me on here tonight. It's always a great pleasure to sit with like-minded people and, conversate about, things and topics that could help someone out there. My name is Anibati Bordeaux, Anibati Choice Bordeaux. I am a nurse, and I'm also the founder of Bloom and Branch and Bloom Foundation. I think you've been seeing my promotional videos for my event coming up on December 6th.
Yes.
It is, it's not just a brunch event, it's actually an event for impact, to be able to help and build a resource center back home one day. My goal in life is to eventually, live a life of contribution, not just to women, but to children and everyone in the community, because I truly believe that as a woman that has been empowered, it is my responsibility to, not change the whole world, but I can make one change that could change someone, and they also could change another person, and that can change the world eventually. So that's my ultimate goal, and I'm excited to be here tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I saw that post about your brunch. I was like, man, maybe I should see if I have some time to fly to PA and attend. Well, I'm still
Yeah,
working on that. So I'm glad you are here. I'm glad you honor my invitation. So thank
thank
you.
you. You're welcome.
Let's go to the man himself.
The man himself. Anyways, thanks for inviting me on your platform. Apparently, your platform now is beginning to establish some sort of permanence in our community. So, hopefully, we being the first guest, as far as I'm aware, um, we can be in the archive of contributing to this platform if this gets bigger. Uh, my handle, my social media handle is Kobe Kwekwe, and that's the name you see up here. I am a social person. I'm an Uber driver and a DJ and a community person. Um, I think those are the things you looked at to bring me on this show to kind of express my thought process in the topic that you have selected. I'm also the kind of person I like to learn. I like to exchange view and learn from stuff. So sometimes I might come up as being hard headed or heated, but it's all in good faith. Yeah. So Kobe Quick is the name, and thanks for inviting me.
All right. Well, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you guys for honoring my invitation. So to this topic is the most, what would I say? Most things that a lot of people evolve. So we're going to be talking about something that breaks relationship, kills dream, destroy potential every single day. Many people don't realize it, blaming everyone, pointing fingers. Like I always say on my show, it is on you. You should stop pointing fingers, avoiding responsibility, and refusing to admit the role that they play in their own life. So this show, I want us to be real. I want us to get to that deep victimhood personality. Why is it that people always try to play the victim? And over the years, over the time, I've seen social media have begun to reward these people that play the victim to the extent that they sometimes celebrate these people that play the victim. And one of the main thing behind this podcast, behind my view, I refer to it the you theory. You are responsible for your life. Nobody else is responsible for your life. So whatever decision you made, whatever choice you made, the consequence, good or bad, is your responsibility. If it's bad, accept it, move on, go on with your life. If it's good, we celebrate. But yet then we still see people keep playing the victim game. I can't change what happened. Yes, you can. You can change what happened. I didn't cause this. Well, if you were in it, somehow you play a part. We hear this all the time, and that's why I tell people your life is your responsibility. I keep saying over and over. And I even go as far as putting the blame on people. You are single because of you. That's a decision people choose to be. It's because of you. It's not because there's no good man, there's no good woman. It's not because the last person treated you bad, this, whatever the case. It's all on you. So today I have two people that are going to voice their opinion on my view. Maybe they will agree to me, maybe they will not, but I have some questions. I'm going to start off with the questions that I have, and then we can go into the show. So, I know we just lost Buti Rex. I'm pretty sure she will be back. But before we get into the question, since she's out, I will start with you, BK, when she come back. What do you think so many people? Oh, she's back. So I was just about to ask my first question.
Mhm.
Why do you guys think so many people today fall in that victim mindset? Because I think it has to do with the mind as well. Why is it a
So,
lot of people try to play the victim? How is it
so
show up every day in everyday life?
y-
Why?
y- for me, I want to start off with something you just said. You mentioned you want our opinions, right?
Yes,
So first thing I like to do is, what is a victim?
good.
I want to have a working definition of what a victim is, because in our community, most times we misconstrue the meaning of a word. So if a girl was dating a person and this person cheated on this girl, is she a victim or not? If this is because of that action that this girl experienced, right? And then she tried to lift her guards up, her relationship guards up. Is she playing a victim card, or does she have a victim's mindset? You get where I'm
Yeah.
going at.
Oh, I thought you
Absolutely.
asked me a question. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so when we say why a lot of people play the victim in relationship, I think it's good to have a clear understanding, or at least establish one, that we can reference in our discussion, so we don't stray, right? The word victim, by definition, has to do with something being done to someone that is not a fault of their own. I'm just generalizing.
Hmm.
So if you say we as people, or as a people, play the victim, I like for us to first establish what is victim, or what victim definition we're going to use in this discussion, so I don't sway too far away from the discussion. Are we talking about a girl that was dated a guy that was cheated on, and then going forward she have her relational guardrails up? or what are we defining here as
Uh,
victim?
I would step in just to clarify that. So if you look at they say stop playing the victim, the power of accountability in every aspect of life. So we're not restricting it to just relationship. We straighten it to life in every aspect. So it could be maybe you can't find a job and you say, you know what happened? Nobody want to hire me. Or you can say, you know what happened? These people think what would I say? I don't want to use the race card. Or because maybe I'm not educated. So every aspect of life. So you as a guest, maybe you can say, maybe this what your opinion based on you. We're not restricting you because I don't want to restrict you on a specific part, not relationship, just every aspect of life.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So if I was to go to college
Hmm.
and earn a degree
Yeah.
and then write a fill out job applications, say about 100, you know,
Hmm.
and still don't get a job, and I use that experience going forward, you know, share that experience with a lot of people, would that be considered me being a victim or me exhibiting victim's mindset?
That's a good question. And before I answer that question, right, I want Bute to come through because this is a very interesting question. And I will let her elaborate first, and then maybe she can try to answer the question, and maybe I'll come in later. So it's all yours.
Yeah. The thing about victimization and labeling oneself as a victim or another person labeling, a person as a victim, I don't think that it's a one size fit all thing. And I don't think that it can be generalized. I think it's about personalization. A person can decide if they are a victim or not. It is not, it is not my responsibility to label someone as a victim, or a person labeling themselves as a victim. I think it's all about the paradox of choice. So victim mentality or a victim, like he said, like what can we regard specifically as a victim?
Okay, I think we lose her there.
Oh
So I will.
man, it's just getting sweet.
Yeah, you know, like who can we really regard? Because when it comes to victimization, there is the paradox of choice.
But then we're
You,
not
a
see,
person
we're hearing you, but we're
that
not
has
seeing
gone,
you. We're not seeing you. We are
oh,
hearing
I
you,
don't
but
know.
The camera
Can you
just
see
went
me
off.
now?
you know, I'm going to remove you and bring you back and see. But I'm not seeing you in. Okay, try calling back. Oh, maybe she'll call back. But BK, right? She probably call back. Just to add, people playing the victim are people that are actually saying it. Those are the people we're referring to. So if you go into college and you apply to 2,000 places, you don't get the job. If you don't consider yourself a victim, no one going to consider you a victim. But if you come and start to put the blame and say, I am, that's what we are referring to because we see it all the time.
So so
Those are the
so your
people we
so your question is actually, why do we blame others for things that
no,
we
no.
have?
Let me go back to the question. Maybe I say, why do you think that so many people fall into a victim mindset? So those people that played the victim game, why you think they fall for it? I'm
See,
not saying it's all that dumb.
and I understand the question. The reason is because I'm trying to make sure that when I say something here, I can mean exactly what I say. That's why I was looking, but I think the other guest kind of leaning towards something that I can use. Um, Meaning that the whole paradox situation. She's from what I understand is we as individuals, right, play this
Mhm.
victim situation in a situation where we feel, this is my opinion, that we have been wrong in a certain way, right? If
Mm-hmm.
you go to college, you amass all these degrees and college education, and you don't get a job. You feel that you did the right things, meaning you went to college, but you did not, or you have not found a job. So
Okay, so
in your mind, you might feel that that's you're being victimized because of certain reason. It could be whether you know race, sexual orientation, or whatever the case is.
okay, I know we lost you there.
Do you
Because
have me back there? Can you see me?
yep, yeah, we can see you, we can hear you loud and clear.
Y'all can
Tell
see
those
me
people to
still?
No, we can see you.
we seeing you now.
You're good.
Oh,
You're
okay.
good. You're
You're
good
good.
now.
Just
Okay.
tell the
Okay.
people to stop calling you. You
No,
on
no
live.
one was calling me actually. No one called. I don't know
I
why I
was
left
joking.
my attention. Yeah, yeah. But I cut off. But like I was saying, I think it's all about it. It can only be personalized by the individual. So a person can get to determine the outcome of a situation and say, I'm a victim, or choose to say, you know what, I have experienced this and it wasn't the best outcome that I hoped it would be, but I am not a victim. I'm choosing to be the villain. So I think it's all wrapped around mindset. It's the paradox of choice. You have to be able to determine what you take out of that. Are you going to take the lessons, or are you going to go with whatever you thought wasn't so good? Depends on what you choose to capitalize on. Am I going to capitalize on what I learned from this? What was this trying to teach me? How can I become a better person out of this situation? So you're able to self reflect, evaluate, and then determine if you're going to be the villain, the victim, or you're choosing to just be like to individually say, you know what, I don't want to be either of the two. I don't want to be the villain nor the victim. I'm just choosing to, to process what has happened and, extract the knowledge or the wisdom or the lesson that it was meant to teach me, and progress and move on with my life without labeling myself, because I honestly believe in the power of words. Spoken words go such a long way. And I think a lot of people sometimes take that for granted. They take labels and they throw them on themselves. My boyfriend and I was just having that conversation. We're talking about something, and I said, people self-diagnose themselves all the time. They tell you, "Oh, I have ADHD. Oh, I am this and I am that. I am," and they don't understand that there's a correlation between our mind, the mental, and our bodies. Whatever you're able to think, like, Albert Einstein has a very famous quote that says, life is it's an imagination is life forthcoming attraction. Whatever we're processing, we're thinking, is going to come about. So I don't really, I think people take for granted the labels they place on themselves, claiming victimhood or claiming the victim mentality. And you start to operate from there subconsciously, unconsciously, you are operating in that mindset because that's what you've probably said. Oh, you know what? I'm a victim. I'm a survivor, or I'm this, or I'm that. It just depends on the individual. And because to each its own, we cannot just place a big label on everybody. It's not a one size fit all. That's just what I think.
So and Vicky, I will get back to you, right? And the choice that we make, if we
Hmm.
choose to label ourselves as victim, that's kind of where I'm coming from.
Hmm.
Most people, and I like to give typical example that people will say, put it this way, I don't want, and this not, but it's just typical mindset thing. And I think because we had a discussion today, I don't trust anybody in this place. Or let's say I don't trust anybody in Liberia, or Liberian people don't do business. You program yourself mentally every day. You say that thing. Every day you say that thing, and then all of a sudden you go do that thing, and you become that. What are you going to tell yourself after that? You're just going to say, I've been saying this to myself all the time. People use that word all the time. I don't like put it this way. I don't want to be so direct, but if we look at, because most of us travel to Liberia, most of us look at the country as it is. People got different mindset about Liberians, about
Baby,
Liberia. So
babe,
if we
can I
keep
have my
telling
charger, please?
people that, if we keep telling ourselves that we cannot find nothing good, nothing good, even though technically you already defeating yourself before you even get into the actual business plan. You already defeat yourself. So that's why I'm saying it's on you. You have to change that mindset
Mm-mm.
before you will be able to proceed toward it. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. And I
Forgive
know
me.
you were asking the question. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
do you have a clear picture of what we're trying to
Oh
portray
yeah.
here?
Oh yeah, I do have it now. So in our community, I think most people brand themselves as victim, like what the other panelists said, because of choice. And I think there's two more things that one more thing that I can add to that. And choice and uh I don't want to say anticipation, entitlement. That's the word I was looking for. Choice and entitlement. Let me give you an example. S- So you travel to Liberia, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you assume, you anticipate that everyone's gonna bow down to you, and they don't do it. Or you travel to Liberia and you feel entitled because the fact that you from the diaspora, certain things should be or become the way you want it to be, and that don't happen. And if it doesn't, then you try to have that. You kind of roll back into that choice by kind of flipping the situation as if you're a victim. Your anticipation um and your entitlement kind of plays in that scenario. So as a people, I think we expect a lot of things in life, and if we don't get them, we play the victim card.
So, and that's a good point you just made. And it kind of goes to what I was. So, are you saying that most people, especially within our community, is playing the victim card because they set expectations so high, and if that expectation is not met, they kind of default to that mindset. Say, you know why?
They set expectations with entitlement.
With entitlement. Okay.
Entitlement, you see, entitlement is the mindset where something you have to get something for because of certain. For instance, a pretty good thing that she should be the queen at the party, right?
Right.
Yeah. So every time she goes out, she expect people to try to talk to her. She tried to be the one, at the spotlight of what's happening at that particular party. So that's the entitlement mindset that I'm talking about in our community. That we have a lot of that. A person graduate from college, they automatically expect to get a job if they go back to Africa. Why? Because they came to the diaspora, they got a degree, so they feel entitled. Even some folks that wanted to be president because they live half their lives in another part of the world and got some experience, felt that the presidency was their entitlement. And when that did not happen, they said, "Oh, the people don't like good things. They don't like this," so they fell victim to the Liberian political dispensation.
And I'm gonna get back to you. But they just based this question. Do you think people playing the victim because the their expectation and the entitlement that comes with their expectation, and if that expectation is not met and that entitlement is not given, so they fall back into themselves saying, okay, I'm
And
victim because of this thing?
that's my opinion. That's what I believe.
I want Buto to comment on that.
I mean, like I earlier said that I mean, like he said, that is his opinion, and
Yeah.
he can only be the one to kind of propound on what, from where he speaks of that. As for me, I believe again, it all goes back to choice. And I think he and I did agree on that,
Yeah.
that it is about choices. And so, I don't, the thing about this entire conversation is that it is not specific. There's no specificity to what a person can determine or they want to make out of their situation. We don't know from where, you know, a person can say, oh, because I was, my expectations weren't met, so I'm considered a victim. Because we have to look at it from a broad spectrum, right? We're speaking about victimization from relationships, from life, I mean, just whatever, in whatever aspect. It's like a person who is in, I'll speak on health, on a health journey, right? Because I'm a health geek. And like a person who isn't the healthiest person, they don't make the most healthiest choices when it comes to diet, when it comes to getting sufficient rest, when it comes to exercising and all of that. And then apparently, because of the poor choices that they have made, and maybe they become sick or they don't have optimal health as they should, can they say that they are a victim? Would they claim victimhood in that type of situation? Or would they look at it like it's something that happened to them? They maybe met, oh, this just happened to me. They're not going to, and I think that's where accountability comes in, which is the overall conversation here. Like if people start to sit back and evaluate the choices they're making, then if you're self-aware enough to evaluate your choices, I feel like you will be bold enough to own up to your mistakes. You will be bold enough to own up to whatever the outcome of situations are, be it health, be it relationships, be it whatever. If you're bold enough to evaluate that, like, just being aware enough to evaluate your choices, a person who is self-aware enough to evaluate their choices is someone who would be bold enough to take accountability for what it is in whatever situation. And it's not a matter of, oh, you know what, yes, victim who is just something that's there. No, a person can determine, because it's not like it's one thing, right? It's either you can choose to be a victim, or you can choose to be a villain, or you can choose to be a student of life. It's up to you. So we cannot, and it's hard to kind of like, I don't know how to say it, but it's hard to determine the reason or the sources of people's decision into labeling themselves as victim, because it could be for whatever reasons. It could be because of entitlement, it could be because of choice, it could be because of several reasons that they choose to either label themselves as a victim or whatever else they're labeling themselves. But at the end of the day, it all goes back to choices, the choices we're making, be it before the outcome happens or be it after the outcome happens. It's all a choice.
So let's pivot just based on what you said, accountability. So if example, someone is playing the victim, someone is considered say the victim. How do we, or what can we do? How can you or BK or Kobe quickly tell that person, say, hey, you need to hold yourself accountable for happy? How does that look like? How can we move people that play that victimization role? How can we be able to tell? How does that conversation start?
Well, I think we first have to, again, this is all my opinion, define, right, what victimization is, and kind of tell this person, well, I mean, yes, you are playing the victim now, but you are a contributing factor to you trying to kind of brand yourself as a victim. Accountability is very important. We do things, especially within our community. We don't like the idea of accountability. It is very foreign to our psyche. And again, this is my opinion. So, because it's foreign to our psychic and our community, we tend to shy away from it. and then employ the getaway tactics of victimhood. So yeah, I think we as a community now, as a people, need to first define victimhood and explain to our, you know, friends and relatives that yes, you might brand yourself as a victim, but you too did have a part to play. You did not do what was supposed to be done, and you did not hold yourself accountable. You did not do the work, do the work that you were supposed to do, and it resulted into the situation that you're currently facing. Like the other panelists mentioned, if you sorry, I keep having things come on my screen. If you have a low health situation and you don't do anything, say for instance you have goodness, you have cholesterol, right? And you don't do the things that you need to do to help you lower that cholesterol, right? You're not taking responsibility to solve that problem, but you come up and say, well, I don't know, because I don't have money to go to the hospital, or I don't have money to buy drugs, and kind of play the victim that you're poor. So yeah, goodness.
So, so just based on exactly what you said, um, are you saying, based on your example, is somebody, let's say somebody in this great country that we all looking at in the US, and for whatever reason they are not progressing like people expect them to progress, and then say, you know what, I mean, I'm not progressing because maybe, you know job is too high, I have a lot of kids, I have a lot of responsibility, I have a lot of bills, like all the excuses. Would that be, would you tell them that, the excuses they are giving is only covering up the accountability? They don't want to hold that what they are doing is based on them? Because we see
Well,
it all the time. A lot of people say, I can't do this because I have so many bills, but the
I,
bills
I,
doesn't just happen.
yeah, I won't say all of their excuses or all of what they say are excuses. Some of them might be, and some of them might not. So, for instance, if a person wants to work but they don't have a car, they haven't really had a job in the past to purchase a car. I mean, that is really not an excuse. But they're responsible to find that job in order to get money to buy that car. So yes, I will tell them that yes, okay, so you can't really feed your family, you're having financial problem, but what have you done? There's a lot of opportunities here. Have you kind of held yourself responsible for you trying to pursue some of the opportunities here to make your life better?
Lute, let's go to you. Accountability. Let's talk about what does that look like. How can you have a conversation with someone that you know, someone I've pretty much said to you that, hey, I'm a victim, and you now, how can you start that conversation and tell them, say, hey, you have to hold yourself accountable? How would that conversation look like? How do we start?
I think the starting point is to assess who you're talking to, and know their listening capacity. Is this someone who is willing? Because willingness is, at the end of the day, goes a long way, so that you aren't, exhausting your energy, or, wasting your time talking to them. Because some people just hear you, they don't understand. So as for me, I'm always critical of who I'm speaking with. And secondly is, are they I would say, firstly, in fact, firstly, I'm gonna assess who I'm having this conversation with. Secondly, are they open to feedback? you know I am a communicator, very effective communicator, and I study mass communications and sociology, especially with communications. You have to be able to assess your audience and know who you're speaking with. So I'm not just gonna give some unsolicited advice or speak to someone just because they're saying something. Because some people just engage in conversations for conversation's sake. it's not, they're not going to hear you. They're not going to understand what you're saying. So are you willing to receive feedback from me, before I can feel free to express? And when it comes to accountability, I think a lot of times, let me tell you, my mom says a hard head make a soft ass. Okay? A hard head makes a soft ass because a lot of people don't listen. Okay? Accountability can only be, a lot of times people learn accountability after they've made a mistake, after they've blundered, after they've messed up. So teaching people accountability is hard. But one thing that will certainly teach people accountability is life. Experiences will teach them. Because you could talk to somebody all day long and tell them this, that, and the third, and it could go right here and come right out here. But trust me, life has a way of teaching you. Life will teach you to own up to what has happened. And if you aren't willing to own up to that, you're going to be in a maze. About 2 years ago, I read a book called Who Moved My Cheese? And I still have that book. Actually, today I went back to it because of this conversation. I went back to it. I took it out of my little archive because I keep on books that I read. And this book is very big on accountability. And he was talking about how we are responsible for what happens to us. A lot of times, some situations we don't have control over, but we are responsible when it comes to adjusting to what has happened. So, and that wraps around taking accountability for what has happened to you. A lot of times people will rather sit back because in this book is really like, about the mice in the maze and their cheese ran out. And one of the mice was like, you know what, the mouse was like, okay, I'm gonna stay here. One day we're gonna get cheese. And matter of fact, why did the cheese go? Why did we run out? And the other mouse was there being very optimistic and like, thinking quick and saying, okay, well, this cheese went out. And the mouse started to imagine and envision, like, okay, you know what? I'm out there eating some cheddar cheese, American cheese, mozzarella, whatever. And because of the imagination of what the mouse was having in the maze, that inspired him to run again, to go out in search of a new set of cheese. He moved from one station to the next because he was inspired by his imaginations, his thoughts, and said, okay, you know what? I'm going to move. He knew that he didn't have control over what has happened, who moved the cheese, but he knew that, okay, you know what? You moved the cheese is gone. I'm going to go in pursuit of a new cheese. I'm going to go along, being able to adjust as life comes, as life happens, because we do not have control over life, but we have control over our approach to what has happened to us in life. So that is accountability. Sometimes you can't control, like you with a partner, you don't have control over them. I always tell my friends, and I hate to bust this bubble to a lot of women, you want control. You cannot control a man when it comes to cheating. That not better go that you can tie on one little tree and say this because I'll leave from here. That wouldn't any unfortunately, like this, that you can't tie that man to one tree and say this is the only kasali farm you're gonna eat in. That's control. You don't have that over another grown adult. But what can you do? Adjust yourselves. Like you can do everything right. You can show up as the perfect partner. You can show up as everything that this person, quote unquote, told you they needed. But are you in control of their desires? Are you in control of their tastes? Are you in control of their discipline when it comes to temptation and resisting temptation? You're not in control of that. And your ability to relinquish that control and know that that vinegar don't belong to your cassava farm will give you the peace of mind that you need.
Mhm.
That is holding, that is the account. That's you, instead of hurting your head to wait until maybe he cheats or whatever, hold yourself accountable and say, I can be the best partner I can be to this individual. But I also understand that despite of how I show up in this connection, I do not have control over what they're going to do. That is accountability. That is accountability. Holding yourself and saying, I'm going to hold your hand with grace and say, all right, this right here, this is a reality you don't have control over. If it happens, it's up to you how you want to go about it. But That is accountability. Handling things from your end before you start projecting or, like fussing or whatever you're going to do. Talk to yourself. Remind yourself that is accountability. And I don't think that's something we can really teach to people. I think that's something that people can grow into. I think that's the thing that people has to be willing to learn and self-discover for themselves.
It's like you just pivot right to my next kind of question because initially I was asking what would a conversation look like if you are talking to someone who you know for sure have been playing that victimization, that saying they are victim. What type of conversation you have with them? And the next question would be what practical step can someone take? So, like you said, if you have a conversation with someone who's willing to listen to you and willing to accept some advices you give them, what practical step would they take to kind of shift that mindset from being a victim to being a villain to being that person who want to move? What practical step will you be telling that person? I know you touched on it a little bit, so I will go to Beacon.
Well, I
Hmm.
mean, not.
You can go
When
back to previous question and
yeah,
come back to it. You can start. You don't have to go directly to.
no. I'm just trying to kind of talk a little bit about when you say what practical guidance you can give them. I mean, she kind of said almost everything. First, I think what needs to happen is the person needs to accept that they're not a victim and they are accountable for whatever they do. See, accountability is responsibility, right?
Hmm.
Accountability is responsibility. If you can establish, right, if you can accept that your behavior is your behavior, I think that's and as a person giving that advice, you can kind of use that as a way to guide them, right? You can't really take the how do you say to take the cow to the river and you can't force the cow to drink. I can tell you exactly things that you're doing wrong, things that's responsible, things you can do to better the things you're doing wrong. But it's gonna be up to you to kind of accept that and do what needs to be done to fix the problem.
Right.
So as far as to really helping someone or guiding someone, like my fellow panelists just say, it's going to depend on who you discussing with. If it's someone that's very reasonable, rational, they're going to say, okay, wait a minute. Now, I've always pride myself as a responsible person, and I've kind of labeled myself as a victim. But maybe I should look at things from a different perspective. Am I really a victim? Have I taken accountability or
Right.
responsibility for the things that have brought me into this situation? If I have, am I willing and prepared to do things to get out of it? Right. So you can advise, you can try to guide them. It's going to depend on who you're doing the guidance or guidance to or for.
Now, I'm just
Hmm.
gonna make this specific, right? Because I hear that all the time, and maybe I'm looking at it from a different perspective. Liberia, we still blame the war for almost every situation that we found Liberia into. We still put the blame on the war. Liberia as a country as a whole. People say all the time, oh, you know why the country is like that because of the war. Now it been what, 20, 15, I don't know how many years has it been? Do you think Liberia as a country we still playing that victim for that country? Like, hey, yeah, it's the war. We're just playing that victim. We don't want to own. I just want to pivot to that
So,
because
you want me to answer?
yes, but I
Okay.
want you to answer, but I
Oh,
also
I'm going to answer
want you
about
to
Liberia.
I want you
because
to look at it from the
because we
from
had this conversation earlier today, and
no
it somehow found its
it's
way in
very
here. Here's the thing.
it's very very
I'm
key.
not a medical person. I'm more of a scientist. So we had a very bad experience during our Civil War, right? And the experiences that we had kind of brought trauma into a lot of us, right? And I think to some extent we really have not healed from the traumas of the war. So most people in that country look at Liberia from that perspective. They see Liberia from and this again, my opinion, this is from the war perspective. If you had COVID or whatever, and you did not take the right medication or do the right therapy to get rid of that COVID from your system, there's still going to be some. It might take a longer time, and you might just get better with COVID leaving your system because it doesn't last in the body. But some remnants might still remain in there. See what I'm saying? So, as a country, yes, we do play the victim sometimes because of the war, but the war did a lot of really bad things to the mindset of the country and to the people of Liberia.
Okay,
I'm
DK.
done. Yeah, I'm, I'm done. I'm done with
You
that
stop.
part.
I know
I
because
stop.
I had a follow-up question when
I
I
know
was
you have a
talking.
follow up question, and I'm waiting for the follow up question. That's
Yes,
where I stopped.
I asked a follow-up question because Liberian blame the war for almost everything. The follow-up question is: do you think at this point? I know you said it's all the things you said is we're home from the past or whatever we need to go through. Went through what was it the TRC? We did
That
all of
wasn't
that.
therapy for the country. That was therapy for the people that was involved in the
Well, the people
activities
make
that.
up the country, so I guess they are the country. But what
So
I'm
the
saying, do you
go ahead.
think we Liberian need to be accountable? Say, you know what, the war happened, it's done with. Let's move on. Do you think it's about time we start saying that instead of saying, no, this is happening because of the war?
It- yes, I mean, I think it's about time that we can start seeing things like that, but we can just not forget what happened during the war. Dude, the Holocaust happened a long time ago. People still reference that. Slavery happened hundreds of years ago. People still reference that. Trauma, trauma. Again, I'm not a medical person, but I think trauma sometimes is handed down, or folks that have trauma kind of pass it down to some extent to their kids and whatnot, right? So you're saying that we shouldn't blame everything on the war. Let me give you an example. Normal time, normal days in Liberia, we had 24-hour power. The war came and we don't have 24-hour power anymore. Normal days, children live with their parents. Most times it was mom and dad. They didn't have to work. All they had to do was go to school. We don't have that anymore. Normal days, we have our little sisters, right, and daughters staying in their family's house. They did not have to go out there to fend for their family. Because of the war, they're doing that. There are some things that, yes, we want to say the war has been 15, 20 years, and we shouldn't blame everything on the war, but the war really did a huge damage to that country, both the psychic, and the country itself. All of these things are because of the war. Do we just not acknowledge that?
Well, it's good that you said you're not a medical person. We do have a medical person in our midst because I really want to know, like, because to me, though, I think it is time that we move on. I think trauma, whatever you describe it, I think that has been done with. I think we need to move forward, taking accountability, than blaming everything on the war. We can reference the war. I'm not saying you can reference the war. You can reference the war, but blaming the war for the state of the country at this point, that I don't agree with. But I will have Bute come in and see. Tell your medical background how far the trauma goes.
Um,
Three
I
decades.
mean, I mean to every medical. I mean, when it comes to trauma, I am not a psychologist or a psychiatrist to kind of speak in depth on that. I can speak, I mean, on a very surface level when it comes down to that and how trauma plays a role. And what I'll say in this case is that in as much as it's important for us to not invalidate the past experiences that we've had as a country, as an individual, in our personal lives or whatever, it's important to acknowledge what we've experienced. experienced in the past, the traumas or whatever, is important because they are the forming factors in our progresses. So it's important for us to acknowledge our past and acknowledge what we've been through. But what's even more important is our ability to recover from what has happened. Because, like I said previously when I was speaking, it's not what has happened to you, is your ability to recover and face what has happened to you. Being forward thinking, being a progressive thinker, because one thing we cannot do is undo the past. We cannot go back in time and change all of the 14-year of civil crisis that happened to Liberia. We cannot undo that. But when we have generational thinkers and leaders, we do have the ability to shape the future of Liberia one day at a time. We can look at our past history. History is very important. It's an integral part of every society and every person's life because you need that. Those are like the founding pillars and foundations of where progress is built. We need that. We need that history to know that we've experienced this before. And because of the trauma that this has caused in our society on individuals, on kids, and and how it raided people of the dignity that Liberia once had, we can now sit back and say, you know what, we no longer want to go through this anymore. And because of that, we will be a peaceful nation. We will be a peaceful people. That's how progress is established. But capitalizing on your trauma, capitalizing on the past, is not a progressive thinker's best place to be. Comfortability is found in excuses. Progress is found in owning up and taking accountability and moving forward. So in as much as I do validate the experiences of Liberia and what has happened, I also feel like at some point we do give grace. I think we've given enough grace to our leaders and the people in our country, but we also owe Mama Liberia a due diligence to go back to where we've come from, quote unquote normal days when our grandpa knew were washing the car with beer. We owe, like we owe those good times to the kids of today. The children of Liberia today deserves to see a Liberia that people are excited to visit. The children of today are deserving to be just as competitive with other nations that are developing. There are countries who have emerged in recent years that have progressed. I mean, there's immense progression. A common example is the UAE, Dubai. Okay, in less than no time, they've just skyrocketed, and it's like day by day they're just becoming better. They are becoming better. They could literally capitalize on being a deserted place, on lacking a fertile soil for agriculture, irrigation, and all of that. But they took the one thing that is of profit to their country, to the nation, and the people, and they built and capitalized off of that. Liberia cannot continuously excuse herself for the poor choices that we continue to make only because of our experience in the past. I think it's about time that we move past everything that has happened and move forward. The other day, we're having a conversation, and I was like, Liberia, the population of Liberia compared to Pennsylvania as a state, I mean, come on. Come on, for heaven's sake. Even the land mass, like comparing how big Liberia is to Pennsylvania, is like what? Like the population of Liberia can literally go into Pennsylvania and doubles Liberia twice. Twice. We don't even have that many people. We're not even that big. And the kind of money we hear that people take out of their country is all an excuse. We could really have been so far if we wanted to. Yes, we validate what has happened. We acknowledge the pains and sufferings and everything we have gone through. But come on, it's 2025. It's 2025. I believe that we can really move past that. I think we just need more generational thinkers. I think we need to give people who are foresighted the chance instead of just being stuck in oh, you know what, I put one pipe in the wall and that's development type of people. We need to we need to like incorporate people who are foresighted, people who are progressive minded into everything that concerns our country. And as an individual, I think that's just where that applies to us as well. Like not capitalizing on what has happened to you. You know, I sometimes I'm always free to tell my story about my experience in the US. I came to the US in 2015. I arrived here. I didn't have paperwork because my school paper was canceled. I came as an international student. My paperwork was canceled. I had to figure my way around it. I didn't get no paperwork until 2019, the end of 2019. Okay, so that's 4 years. In that process, I was working at a restaurant. I was braiding hair. I was doing makeup. I was doing just anything that I could do to survive at the time so that I could, because I knew that was just, that was like a transit moment for me. Okay. And I did all of that. And once that time came, and then I had to go through DV, domestic violence and abuse and all of that, and a baby, and, I had a child in the process of that. I could capitalize on that and be like, you know what? I was homeless. I was laying on somebody's floor, in somebody's couch, in their living room, and this, that, and the third. Oh my God, that happened to me. I'm such a victim. But listen, I am way better than that. I chose the better end of the story. Regardless of what happened to me, yeah, that is not an excuse to not move forward. That was just a phase of my life. That was just a page in my book that taught me so much about myself, taught me strength, tenacity, perseverance. It taught me so much about who I am as a woman. And I am where I am today. And I look back and I was like, you know what? I have to make better choices, not just for me anymore, but for the child that I have. He needs to see someone he can look up to. So it's not about what has happened to us. It's about what you see going forward, making a personal decision, being convicted of where you have been, and saying to yourself, all right, this has happened. I accept it for what it is. I'm not going to feel sorry for myself, but I'm going to move forward. I'm going to move forward. That is where true strength lies. That's where accountability lies, because accountability brings progress. Excuses, you're just going to be stuck in comfortability.
And I got two questions. And it has is pretty much on the same topic, Liberia. The habit of blaming the war. Do you think that's affecting our leadership, our development? Do
No,
you
I
think
think
that be
I think we already just answered that. I just touched on that. No,
okay?
yeah, I think I
Okay.
literally just answered that.
Yeah. So
It's
there's the
just an
part. So
excuse.
yeah. So how can the next generation of Liberian, the next generation that's talking about us, maybe even I won't say, but the next generation move from the blame to responsibility and take that country where it's supposed to be normal day.
But that is the problem right there. Most people don't know what Normandy is. People make decisions based on information. That's why people say, inform decision. You can't really do something that you have no idea what it is, right? So how do you expect the young Liberians to go to normal day when they don't know or they never experienced normal day? See what I'm saying? So Liberia, right, as a country, I know we yeah.
We're still blaming the war. Let me help you there. We're still
No,
blaming everything.
and then by the way, someone's on my door. I'm gonna have to. I guess someone at the door to see. I'm gonna
Yeah,
have to.
check your door. But
Yeah.
this is kind of like this. This is my last question to kind of, like I say, I wanted to keep this for 1 hour, and we're just about that 1 hour.
Mhm.
So
Right.
the question is, how can the next generation change the narrative from blame to responsibility, accountability? How can the next generation change that narrative? Because it's getting, even those kids that were just born 4 5 years ago still have that same mindset, that same thing. Oh yeah. So what can we do as Liberians to change that narrative? Because we know it's time to move
What's up?
forward.
Mm.
Hi, man.
Well, I don't know if that is something that we can collectively do, you know, and say that, we can change the mindset, or we can change that narrative of, um, of what people would think, or how the new generation is going to think. um we can, I mean, I don't know if we can do that collectively, like with Liberia as a whole nation, but I think by having these conversations, and I mean, thank God for the new age of social media, and people seeing the different things that are happening in other parts of the world, and that is spiking and inspiring change. So hopefully they can, do a comparison with our country and other countries around the world, young leaders, and see the difference. Like, okay, other countries that have also endured silver crisis and stuff like that, what have they done to kind of like recover from those experiences, those things that happen? So thank God for social media. A lot of Liberians are getting the exposure that is needed to bring enlightenment to these types of situations, and to affect change in our country. But I don't, and individually, like conversations like these, talking about things like they do with the Spoon TV and stuff like that. I think they just need more young minded people who are more like, out there that have seen, like, these are the conversations that we continuously have to have, so that it starts to get stuck in people's minds, like what the expectations are, what can we do to move past this. When we start having conversations about accountability and owning up to our mistakes and moving forward, progressive conversations, I think we can make a difference. I think we can make a difference, though it's one step at a time, but I think we eventually can get there. We definitely can get there. I'm hopeful.
So
So
Biggie, I know
so
you left in the middle. So
yeah,
was
I
talking
had.
about, yes, how can the next generation rewrite the narrative from blame to responsibility or accountability for Liberia?
It's
Like,
it's it's not an easy process. It's gonna take a long time to do. But if you were to ask my opinion, I would say first thing we need to do is we need to have sessions, counseling sessions. Because here's the thing: the reason most countries that I know of, some of them I might not, and I'm just throwing this out there, that have had some kind of uprising in their countries, have had some sort of counseling, whether it's general or individual, whatever the case is. In our situation, is that we see victims of the war and perpetrators of the war, you know, in the same dispensation without form, any form of penalty for their actions that they did in the past. I think that to some extent was, you know, some of the reasons why a lot of older people, not young people, now have problems with post-war situation. Now, what we need to do is again, social media is one of them, but I think we still need to kind of direct those of us that have the opportunity. Those of us in the diaspora, people need to know what normal they felt like. Let me give you an example. Today, I was on social media and I saw the president of the country riding in a bus, right? And some people were there trying to boo him, or they actually boo him. These people don't know what nowadays we have buses in Liberia. We used to get on buses from Painesville, Broad Street. That's a normal day a situation that the old man is trying to bring back to the country. But these people don't know normal days. We have roads from Monrovia to Lofa County or from Monrovia to the southeast. Those are normal day situations. Most of the young people nowadays don't know that situation. Right? We have Sophie Ice Cream Shop where we used to go to every Sunday to buy ice cream. right? Those were normal day situations. Those situations can only come back if we do have business people that can invest. And people are not going to invest in a country where there is no, well, where there's a semblance of no law and order. See what I'm saying? So, in order for us to go back to normal days, in order for the country to move forward, right, there has to be a lot of things done to show these young folks what they're missing. A lot of them not used to 24-hour card. The thing is the luxury. The thing is the luxury. You
Right.
know, they get it one day. It's, oh, but Ellie, no, this is things we had. Months we used to go no power. Dude, we used to have school that have buses to take us to school. In the morning, wake up, eat your breakfast, wait for your bus to come. You never get late for school. Those were normal days situation. The war took that away from us. So we just got to figure a way how to bring that back, how to show these kids that what they see now or what we've had in the past is not what they have now.
While you Yeri people, like I said, we need to take accountability. It's on us. It's on you. Before we close up, I will just get a few words as a closing from my two guests, and we'll move on from there. Just few words just to close the night, because this was a good conversation. Like Buti said, we need to have more of this conversation that will help spread the word and that will help rewrite the narrative of Liberia. So I will start with you, BK.
Okay, well, thanks for inviting me on your platform. I did have fun, and I can say for a fact that I learned some things today. Is it Booty?
Yes,
Yeah.
it's a Buti.
Yeah, I did
Annie
learn a
Buti.
lot. Yeah, I did learn a lot from you, from your perspective.
Thank you.
Um,
Same here.
as a yeah, as a community, as a country, I think, like she mentioned, we need to have more of these. We need to actually teach our community that for every action there is an equal and opposite reaction. Victimization, I mean, unless is is true victimization, we need to be responsible. And like I said earlier, accountability is responsibility.
Mm.
You have to put in work, to get it. I don't want to say get out of work, but you got to put in work to get stuff done. It's not like you just kind of sit down, you're a beautiful lady, and all of a sudden you think you're entitled to, things. It doesn't work that way, right? You have to be, if you're a beautiful woman, go to school, get an education, and whatever will happen, will happen. So, as a people, we need to have more of these conversations. Um, and as far as the country and the president and all of that, now you're thinking that the country might be kind of affected by the war or the way we see our president, we see through the scope of the war. I think that's going to take some time to fix because it's not a one. The war was 15 years, so it's going to
14,
take
I
some
think. Yeah.
time. Yeah, it's going to take some time to fix that. But we can't give up. We got to be steadfast. If we want Liberia to be better, if we want Liberians to be better, we're going to have a lot of these conversations, whether it's on social media or one-on-one or whatever the case is. Again, thanks for inviting me. I did have fun.
Annie Buti Bado. Or Bado. Is that how you say it?
Yeah. Yes. Well,
Any last words?
thanks for having me on tonight. And what I like to close with is to, say that accountability starts with also accepting and being okay with being the villain. And this is especially towards my sisters, the women. Okay. You don't always have to have the narrative of of a victim. Not everything, especially when it comes to relationships. Like, girl, sis, we need to step up our games. Play. If you realize that this is a game and you're in a maze, and you this is checkers, this is chess, not checkers. You will play this game like it's meant to be played. So you're not always the victim. You're not always the one crying. Miss somebody's son cry too. Like,
Mm.
come on.
You
Like,
can
come
hear it.
on.
You hear it.
It's absolutely okay. It's okay to own up and take responsibility for your heart. Everybody can just come and just crush your heart and go. Like sometimes when people come to, I mean, get in something to cry about as well. You can't just be crying all the time. Take some of the pepper that the people give you, reserve it for the other people in there too. You learn your lesson, like
They all are closing vibes.
yeah, like no, because accountability goes a long way, but accountability is understanding that you don't always have to be the victim. And a lot of times when you hear the story of victimization, it's always women. Let's be realistic. It's always women. We're always the victim, whether we want to own it up or not. But once you start learning that it's okay to be a villain, like get into your villain era so you don't have to cry no more and be explaining that, oh, he did this to me, did that to me, and this just not working out. Like, girl, step so you don't have to be crying, and we don't have to feel sorry for you. We can be proud of you and say, yeah, you did that. So I mean, all jokes aside, I really wish that a lot more women will understand the power that we have, that we don't always have to say yes. Like, it's okay to say no. You don't always have to submit to whatever. You don't always have to submit to attention when it's not valued. Keep it moving, know what works for you, know what doesn't work for you, and just pay attention to what benefits you and breeds you a happy life. It's okay to be the villain. Don't We won't want to hear no more victim stories.
Well, it is on you. Like the show title, it is on you. It is on you, Liberia. If you want to move on, the war has been going a long time. It is on you. Liberia responsibility is Liberia. No
Yeah.
one else. I appreciate you all for watching. I want to say big thank you to my guests.
Right.
This is, like Becky said, my first guest on It Is On You podcast. Is going to go in the archive. This show was recorded. I'm going to post it on my YouTube channel, so it's going to be there. So it'll be there for rewatch. But once again, thanks for honoring my invitation. We're going to keep doing this. We're going to expand. And before I close, I want to tell people to go buy my book.
I know
we
that's
gotta
right.
we gotta add that there too, right? Go buy the book, Haiti Morovia, and the book gave you what we perceive Liberia to be. My friend of mine doing my book signing asked me like, I was reading the book and you describing looking down, look at this city in Dubai. I'm like, yep, that's what I'm dreaming about. So there's the goal,
That's
but
good. That's hopeful.
yeah, that's what we're hoping for. Forward thinker, like you said.
Yeah.
So once again, thanks for watching to all the people in the media lane, social media, Facebook, Instagram. We appreciate you. Thanks for watching. Have a great day
All
and
right.
hold yourself accountable. Your life is your responsibility.
All
Thank you
right.
guys.
All right. You're
I'll
welcome,
put
Chance. Have a good night.
I'll put your backstage and you can go if you want to say anything. All right, guys. I'm logging off. Thank you. Thank you.